It's just a totally different experience. But I also feel like that's got to be like incredible for comedy, no?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to clubs when I was in high school. I remember seeing Bill Burr at the comic strip and just being blown away, and seeing David Tell at Caroline's, Patton Oswalt at Caroline's. I mean, it was pretty damn special to see all those guys. And yeah, I remember, I mean, it's crazy. I saw Bill Burr at comic strip. Then like a couple years later, I was in college. He came down to my college, so I got to hang out with him a little bit. And then like another 8 years after that, we were just on a Conan episode together. And now I just know the guy. It's hilarious how time flies like that. But yeah, just seeing that level of comedy when you're young is it's pretty cool. I mean, I saw Attell just like, it was like Jedi level shit. Yeah. I mean, just seeing him work a crowd, you know, it's good. Right? It's good. It's good to, I mean, a lot of people come from other cities and they're like, this guy's incredible. But like, they're incredible in Topeka, you know? If you're in New York City, you're like, oh shit, David Tell is like the funniest guy in the world. It's crazy.
I feel like there's also such a like brotherhood or whatever you want to call it, community, family in comedy. But like once you get past at a club or you like put out a special or you have some success, you're like in with these guys, right? I feel like there's a level of respect that it's like you all at least recognize each other. You're not best friends or anything, but it's like you'll get respect from all these guys that you may have grown up watching because I feel like you've earned it at this point.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the comics that I've always revered have always they turned out to be very generous. And I mean, once they shit on you, you feel good. You're like, oh shit, they like me. Like that, it's funny. It's like, I mean, like I remember one night I was at the Cellar and I was smoking a cigar on the steps with Mike Vecchione. It was my birthday. I was like, I'm gonna have a birthday cigar. And Attell comes out of nowhere and he taps me on the shoulder and he goes, "Hey Sam, you had a good set, but it wasn't that good."
It was a cigar on the stoop.
Wasn't cigar on the stoop good. So like whenever they shit on you, or like, you know, it's pretty cool when they shit on you. You're like, all right, I feel like that's how they show you they like you. Like it's like a kid in the you know, it's like when you're like 3 and you push a girl off the seesaws and they're like, he likes you, you know?
Right. Yeah, if comics I feel like if comics are nice to you, it's like, oh, yikes, you fucking stink, dude. You bomb.
Nothing worse than a comic going, hey, buddy. You're like, oh, my God, what did I do?
Oh, yeah.
Am I about to get Me Too'd? What
happened? Is this something you always wanted to do? Like, all right, so here's the question. Do you remember, like, your first big laugh where you went, like, okay, I'm funny? Maybe not even necessarily, like, in a club. Like, it could be just, like, at a family party or something
like the playground, whatever, yeah.
Yeah, in high school, I was getting laughs just being a bad kid. Like, it wasn't highbrow stuff. It was like a teacher would call me and I'd lift both of my heads behind my head and fart and everyone would laugh. And it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like, oh shit, that's Carlin-esque. It was more like me just going for
I don't know, man. Listen, some kid puts his legs above his head and farts. That's a peak comedy in my book. Holy shit. I
remember there was a few lines in high school that definitely like you know, like I remember our high school was across the street from a hotel. So there would sometimes be people naked across and it would just be, it was like the obvious joke, but I'd be the only one willing to say it, you know, in the class. So like someone would be naked and I would like stand up and be like, titties. And everyone would like cheer and they'd be like, get out, Sam. So it was like shit like that. And then over time, I was trying to go for wittier, I was like a bad kid. And then it hit like 11th, 12th grade. And I started like going for the joke that like included the teacher. So then they started liking me. I was like, oh, let me try to get everybody on board here. So that was
And you want to earn money every time you spend money? Download the Upside app for free right now and earn cash back on everyday expenses. Get 5 cents per gallon of gas, get 30% on groceries, and up to 45% at restaurants. Download Upside today.
And eventually I did like a thing for the school where we had to do community service and then do a presentation on it. And I tried to make it a stand-up routine and it killed. And that was horrible because I was like, well, clearly I'm ready. Let me start hitting the mics. And then it was like people with like fucking 40s just being like, this guy fucking sucks. So it was like that high, that low. And then I would do like shows where my friends would show up, bringer shows, and I would kill again. So it was such a mercurial existence where I'm like, I don't know where I am yet, but I know that it's a drug. When you get that good high, you're like, I got to get back to that good high.
Yeah, we talked about it relatively recently. Like, I suppose maybe if you're a singer or a band or whatever, you're on stage and you see everyone like, you know, singing your songs or dancing along to your shit. But I mean, other than that, like the feeling of having a crowd just like in stitches. I don't know if there's anything that like compares to that type of the confidence and swagger and like cockiness that you must get out of it, where it's like, I just fucking owned this room, rooftop, club, whatever it is, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely so I needed something because I felt like I came from a family of, my brother and sister were just straight up overachievers. Both went to Ivy League law schools. I mean,
oh shit.
For me, it was kind of like, I got to stand out some way because I'm not getting attention, in that way. I wasn't getting like academic attention.
What would you have done?
I don't know. I started stand up at like 18, so I didn't really have a plan B. I think, I think it was just like what, and also you start out as a comic, you don't understand how much work it takes. Like I realize now, like, man, I have to work pretty hard just to be like an okay comic. But when I was 18, I think a lot of it was like, well, I'll drink for free at this job. Like I wasn't thinking like health insurance wasn't an issue for me. I was like, oh, whatever, fuck health insurance. I can get a free screwdriver whenever I want. This is worth it. And my mom, I think, was like hip to that, where she was like, I think you just like that you can get drunk. And I was like, stop it, mom. I was hammered.
Brown liquor, brown water.
But, I think, and then over time, I mean, I loved stand up. It wasn't like that. But then I realized like, oh, David Tell drinks a lot, but he works his fucking ass off. Like this guy works so hard. And then I'd see other comics like who I respected. And the ones I respected were clearly prolific. And I heard Colin Quinn say, you have no shot in this business if you have a drinking problem. He's like, it's already enough against you. You have no chance.
Wow. I mean, is there any way, I feel like, you guys do like 6-7 nights a week, like 25 sets a week. Is there any way, do you have to do that? Like, do you know of anybody who's made it, who's like, yeah, I go up on Thursdays and Saturdays and like, that's it?
I think some people, but they've made it through some other avenue. Like they have a huge podcast or they're like on a TV show or something. I think the ones who make it, it's like you're never going to be a Jim Gaffigan and go up twice a week. Like those guys are they're addicts, they're fiends. And you feel it in their comedy. And there are people that they're famous enough to keep getting like deals from Netflix or Amazon or HBO, but they're not good specials, a lot of those people. So if it's someone who's putting out a lot of work and the quality's high, then I think you got to get up like a psycho. I think you have to.